Hello beauties, welcome back to my channel. Today we're gonna be doing my regular client's hands this hour before, and the wear time was like 3 weeks, and this is how these nails looked like 3 weeks ago when we just did them. And yes, I know my client used these hands a lot in like household, like she cleaning a lot, she's doing too much like homework, but today she came to me to redo this, so let's do this. And first of all, I'm spraying out my sanitizer on her hands because I feel it makes the procedure more safe, especially in New York City. Yes, every time in the beginning I thought about like New York subway, and it's not a secret for everyone about the condition in New York subway. So yeah, trying my best to keep the procedure as safe as I can. And then starting a whole process of Russian manicure, starting with the removal. Use my favorite removal bit from Kmis company. It's Russian company, and I'm really in love with this shape of removal bit, like a Christmas tree, because as I always said, like you can remove the old product from old polish, and then in the very end you can remove the natural nail underneath of the hard gel. And removal process is very easy when you don't have like so much peel off from the previous polish. So yeah, right now I just remove like extra layer, and I left probably 15 or 20% of the previous polish. And yeah, we do not remove the gel at all because like we don't want to ruin the natural nail, so just left like 15-20% of the previous gel. Like it honestly, it wouldn't be gel, it would be like a base, rubber base, which we'll apply later, but still keep this on the nails. And yes, you can see like a small peel offs from the sides, because as I said before, like my client used her nails a lot. You can actually see the change of the color of the top coat because she's working a lot with all these chemicals. So I really did my best last time, but like, you know, gel is not internal material. Yeah, right now I'm doing the second step in Russian manicure. I push the cuticle back. This step is so important for Russian manicure because if you will left even like a small unnoticeable adhesion with the cuticle and nail, like a really small part, it still can ruin your manicure. Because the next steps we're gonna do, it's gonna be like working with the e-file drill, and we need to choose the one drill bit that fits the best depending on the client's skin type and the condition on the cuticles. Yeah, because the whole process can be ruined in just one step. So yeah, and let's start with the cuticle work with e-file. This is one of my favorite steps because it completely transforms how the nails look. And as I said before, I begin by selecting a medium grade bit for the skin, and I usually choose the one that fits best depending on the client's skin type and the condition of their cuticles. And I gently start working around this cuticle area and carefully moving drill bit toward the base, the nail plate. And I take a lot of time for this part. It's all about being precise, and I'm not rushing because the skin around the nails, it's so delicate, and I don't want to avoid any irritation or cuts on my client's skin. And also I creating just a little motions, like when the bit lifts cuticle gently without like digging inside. The beginning working only on the left side and creating this motion on the all fingers, and then just switch to the right side and doing the same. Clean the side walls of the nail, also known as a lateral folds. And just so you know, these areas can collect dead skin around and dust. So yeah, make sure to clean them properly. I also go under the free edge of the nail just to a little bit to remove any skin built up there. You know, this like crusty side walls. So at the end, it's gonna help nails looking clean and also prevent liftings. if you're going to apply the gel later. And I always love to say the cleaner the prep, the better the final result. And also with all these motions, we can say like we are lifting the cuticle more, open up the pocket slightly, and it gives us a better access to clean underneath. And also make sure the surface is smooth so you don't scratch the actual nail plate. And we also have to pull the lateral fold back with, like, I'm doing this with my other hand, and start working from the middle point, directing the bead towards the center of the cuticle. I hold the e-file perpendicular to the direction of motion, which means at a right angle to the skin around the nail. For me, as a nail technician, it gives a maximum control and reduce the risk of injury to my clients. Okay, and finally, I start the step like unfolding the cuticle, the pocket opening technique. And this is very important step because when it comes to a clean, flawless cut, we are doing here is like unfolding the cuticle to make the skin smoother, thinner, and easier to cut later. And I'm using the 15-17,000 RPM range, and I gently slide the tip of the bead underneath the lifted cuticle, and then slowly begin to raise and roll it outward away from the nail plate. And look at all movements that I'm doing. It's like the movement should feel like you're flipping the cuticle outward, prepping it for a precise cut. And I hold the bead at 90-degree angle during this stage to really polish and stretch the skin. And as I unfold the cuticle, I can clearly see any remaining pterygium or build up that wasn't removed earlier. And also remember, if you notice that the bead is like tugging on the skin or causing discomfort for client, you just can lower the speed a bit. Sorry, it's my dog. Just lower speed a little bit to avoid any micro tears, because clients shouldn't feel any sensation, any like bad feelings at this moment. And here's our last step for the e-file manicure. Final part, the cut. This is where everything comes together, and I'm still using the same bead, but now I'm work exclusively with the belly, like the rounded middle part. And for here, I work only in one direction, always in forward mode, and I adjust the speed depending on the skin type. For someone who have a thicker cuticle, I go slightly higher than 8,000 RPM, and for thin or sensitive skin, I stay between like 5 or 8,000 RPM. So I start again with the side walls, and I gently polish the lateral folds, and as I research the cuticle, I move the client's hands back to the normal position and place the wider side of the bead right under the skin, laying it flat along the nail. Then I perform a perfect clean sweeping cut, little by little, and always following the natural curve of the nail plate. And also remember, for this step, never stop in one spot for too long. It can actually burn your client. It can be like a mechanical burn. So don't do this. Just don't stay in one spot for too long. Also, when I finished, I remove any dust with a brush. And then I'm taking my lint-free wipes to remove any oil from the nail plate. Also doing this properly to not to left any like oily spot on the nail surface on the nail plate. And next step is a base, rubber base coat. Here is the interesting part begin. Unfortunately, I hear a lot of like scraping in the base coat into the nail plate. It's a huge mistake if you apply it before like hard gel. When you apply a base gel too thinly, most of what ends up on the nail is just a sticky dispersion layer, basically uncured product. And if you wipe that off, then guess what? There's barely any actual base left on the nail surface on the nail plate. And now tell me, like, what the hard gel supposed to hold if there are no foundation beneath it. Instead of this, you should apply your base coat in a thin, yes, but even layer, not a scrubbing motion. And the goal here is, yes, let the nail plate absorb some of the product, and after curing, you want to see an actual base layer left behind it, because your hard gel will sit directly on the top of that. So if there's no base, there's no grip, and your hard gel won't last. And here's another tip. The edge of the base coat around the area of the nail should not fade to nothing. You actually need to create a soft, like a pillow of base, especially in the side walls and growth zone, for areas are highly flexible, and if you skip them or under apply, and your hard gel is going to lift right off. And also, guys, I want to apologize in advance if you hear any background noises right now. I really did my best to keep the scenes quiet, but my dog insisted to stay in with me while I'm trying to put voice over the video. So right now she's sleeping on me. She's a bulldog, and yes, she snores. So I appreciate your understanding. Sorry. So yeah, let's continue. And today I'm going to show you how to work with a builder gel. This is really good builder gel, hard gel from the BU brand. So let's talk about what builder gel actually is. Builder gel is a thick, viscose substance made from polymers and specially structured monomers that are designed to harden or cure under UV or LED light. And I love these gels because it's self-leveling, which means it spreads evenly without too much effort. It's usually resistant to household chemicals, and unlike acrylics, it doesn't have a harsh or overpowering smell, which is big plus for both for me, especially for the technician who's working with all the gels all day long. Another advantage is that you can build any shape or length you want. And look at the color of this gel. I really enjoy working with it because I love the texture and the color again. It's pink, but it's not like childish or like a pink or cheap looking pink. It's more of luxurious, elegant rose tone. And let's get into the application of hard gel. First, I apply a thin hard gel layer. Using my brush, I gently spread it across the entire nail, paying close attention to the cuticle area and the side walls. You want even coverage, but not too much product. This layer helps everything stay in place and gives you control as you build up the shape. And once it's applied, I took a bigger drop of the hard gel and applied like a second layer, the building layer. And take your time with this step. Make sure the gel is even and symmetrical. And keep your apex and structure in mind depending on the length of the natural nails of the client. And once everything looks good for me, I cure it fully in the lamp. And the next step, I need to shape all the nails to like the same shape. Here is gonna be something like oval, square, like square oval, like square and oval shaped, and something between, more like oval. And here's it's the last part. It's just a top coat. And in this case, I'm gonna use the color top coat from the dark brand. But it just because the client want more like solid color, not too transparent. So I just use it the color top coat. But usually I'm gonna like in all the other case I'm gonna use it just clear top coat. And before we go, let me just tell you a little bit about why I've been gone for so long. The truth is I've been busy creating my very first online manicure course, and I decided not to take a small course but full product design especially for nail techs who want to take their skills to next level. And I'm pretty sure it's gonna be a part where we will focus on French manicures, how to do a beautifully perfect French tip, and honestly, I had no idea it would take so much time to prepare everything. So I was pretty much offline for about like 2 weeks. But yes, like very, very soon you will see some new products and lessons from me where I will share all the little secrets I use in my work, all my experience, and what helped me to create amazing manicures, how I do certain steps, and more. And here's our manicure. Just look at this. Isn't it gorgeous? I'm totally in love with how it turned out. So if you like it, subscribe to my channel, hit the like button and leave me a comment. If you have any questions or anything unclear, ask me.